Welcome to Touching Grass and Painting It. We are talking about outdoor sports and background painting for animation. So let's talk about what this panel's about. It's about finding the balance in painting and a fast-paced production and taking the necessary time to pursue athletic passions. For some of us, it's like a pretty much needed, break from being in our chairs from like a 9 to 5, not 5 to 9, 9 to 5.
Who else is a hermit when working and just in the dark?
Yeah, in the dark.
Watching your screens.
Most of us are working from home except for Victoria.
That's me. I come in by choice, though. I need the separation, the physical separation between my room and an office.
Yeah, but either way, you're still like in an enclosed room.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I'm sitting at a desk.
In
It's
the
a desk job.
dark.
Victoria's
Usually.
still sitting down and painting.
Yeah.
So
I'm sitting right now.
You are sitting right now. Most of us haven't been in the office since 2020, right? Right, Q?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
My choice is going back to Netflix before they cancel all the shows.
I'm sure you guys heard about that. A little on the nose as it is, hiking, backpacking, running, climbing is actually not just good for physicality and body, but like rather pretty good for your mental health too. And we're here to advocate for that. It also really gives us some artistic inspiration. So that's why we're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to introduce our panelists who pull inspiration from outdoor sports. So I would like to go down the table. We're going to ask every one of our panelists their name, their ethnicity, what everyone does for work, how long you've been in the industry, and the studios you've been on or currently on, and your sports of choice. Let's do it. So let's start with me. Hi, I'm Aprilyn Kananan. I'm Filipino-American. I lived in Japan and lived in Florida, but I'm full Filipino. And I've been a background painter, designer, and a viz dev artist. I've worked at WB Animation. I've worked at Cartoon Network. I've worked a little bit with Disney. I've been on New Looney Tunes. I've been on DC Superhero Girls, the remake with Lauren Faust. I've also been on Tig and Seek, which is no longer on HBO Max. But I've also done indie, so I've done TV feature and indie. Some of the projects I've done is for Studio Yada, which is Smiling Friends. Does anyone know that show? Yeah. It's fun. I like it because it's like an adult show, but instead of being a bit of a downer, it's actually pretty positive. But yeah, that's me. My sports of choice. I like to climb and wall climb, bouldering specifically, and
We all met through climbing, actually.
Yes, if that's not obvious.
I forgot to wear my climbing sweatshirt, so I'm left out.
Pretend Gray is wearing hers. But I also roller skate. I do a lot of hiking. And yeah, that's me. Let's move on to Gray.
Hi, everyone. My name's Gray. I'm Chinese American. I'm currently between jobs, but I've been jumping around between different studios. DreamWorks, Netflix, Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers. I was at Warner Brothers last working on Bugs Bunny Builders. I've worked on She-Ra, Solar Opposites. What else? We Lost Our Human, the new interactive show on Netflix, which is really fun. But yeah, like I said, we all met through rock climbing. Rock climbing was actually how I got my start into starting to get more active after living the hermit artist life. And lately I've gotten really into like distance running, and we'll talk about that later.
What's your wait, you said your ethnicity, right?
Yes, I'm Chinese American.
Okay, thank you. I missed that. All right. Q. Let's move on to Q.
Hello. My name is Q, and I'm Chinese, full Chinese. So I moved to US after high school, and I just stayed here for college. And then now I'm working for the entertainment industry for close to 10 years now. Yeah, so yeah, I work for, before I started working for animation, I worked for Sim Entertainment. So I designing like Universal Studios, those like a ride and stuff. And now I'm going back to them now, just like because the industry there's up and down. So I'm just still doing some freelance work for Sim Entertainment now. And I also working as visual development artist for some like writers, studios. I work as background designer, background painters for Netflix Animation, Warner Brothers, Bento Box, Rough Draft Studios. Also Shadow Machine, yeah, DreamWorks. Sorry, I bit so many of them, so yeah, just jumping around and also freelance here and there too. Yeah, and then my choice of sport is climbing for sure. Okay.
Just climbing.
And then so many other things. I also like swing dance. I saw some of my dancing friends here too. So yeah. Cool. Yeah, and also backpacking and yeah, too much. Okay, let's just stop here.
No, it's a great amount of information. Honestly, perfect amount. Q is like the backpacker out of all of us. Like she's the one that goes out camping in the wilderness.
Yeah, it's great. You guys should join.
Me, Gray, and Victoria like to be home at a certain time.
I like having a restroom, like access
I like
to plumbing
bathroom
is
access,
nice.
yeah.
Access, man, that's rough. Roughing it out. So our last panelist is Victoria Orolfo.
Hi, that's me. Hi, I'm Victoria. I am a background painter / color supervisor at Cartoon Network currently. My ethnicity is Chinese Filipino, but culturally I am Chinese Malaysian American. Let's see. I'm currently at Cartoon Network. Most of my career has been at Cartoon Network up until now. I've worked on We Baby Bears, Tig and Seek, Primal, Infinity Train, and Mighty Magiswords. And then before that, I worked a little bit at Netflix on a show called Captain Fall. Very adult, very not for children, which is funny because the rest of my resume is like mostly children's shows. Anyway, I've also freelanced for Owl House at Disney. I've freelanced for Honda doing an internal animation for something that they were trying to pitch to their Japanese team for Cars. And I've also freelanced for Jim Henson. Yeah, so my main hobby outside of art is bouldering, both indoors and outdoors, but lately it's been indoors.
So yeah, these are our panelists. Like, let's welcome them. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. So I'm trying to keep this casual. We're all basically friends, and we know each other by climbing, and we all happen to be background painters. So I was like, let's do something with this. That's really awesome. So yeah, I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna talk about the responsibilities of a background painter. We're going to talk about the state of the industry, perhaps. So yeah, let's start with like, please, Gray, describe your day as a background painter. Maybe have a very brief description among us about the pipeline.
Yeah, sure. So in TV, most of the time, the design department's kind of broken up into different roles. So you have like character designers, prop designers, background paint. So generally, we get a pre-designed layout from the background designers. That's like line art or sometimes black and white graphic shapes, and we color them depending on like what the scene's supposed to look like, lighting wise.
We talk with our art directors
Yeah.
about their vision, about what they want for us to paint. Honestly,
Yeah. And generally, it's like a 1 to 2 week deadline per episode.
Sometimes it's just 1 week.
So yeah, sometimes it's 1 week. It really depends on the show. But yeah, like generally you would discuss with your art director, figure out what your assignments are, paint them, get notes.
How many paintings do you guys typically get in an assignment? I mean, it really depends on like the production, but like,
Yeah,
what is your maximum of every week?
I would say on average it's like 10 backgrounds per 2-week turnaround.
yeah.
That sounds about right. And that's including revisions and notes.
I was in preschool. My last show was preschool, so I think I got maybe 5 backgrounds per episode. I think it was about a week and a half turnaround.
For me, when I was on DC Girls, it was a huge crunch time. So I was getting about 15 backgrounds a week. It was a lot. But the thing is, it depends on the production. Like your art director may have like really streamlined the process. So these shapes might look pretty complicated. Like this is my work, by the way. They might look complicated, but like they're all shapes that you use for clipped layers. And yeah, it was actually much more simpler than you think. So 15 sounds a lot. Really, it's like the smaller backgrounds that are just like close-ups of a wall. But the establishing ones, like depending on like if your art director would assign Q, for example, like you're getting the establishing shot, and Victoria, Gray, and Aprilyn are going to follow that. So Q won't have a huge amount of work because she's just trying to establish the shot. We might because we're trying to match.
Yes.
So yeah, it's about like sharing the load with your background team.
Yeah, it's very collaborative. Oftentimes, like if your art director likes something from someone else's painting, they might ask you to try to replicate that in your painting.
Yes, yeah. This is Q's work. She's a viz dev artist. Q, could you give some insight on how a creator or a director will work with you on viz dev designs?
Okay, so I working for background design, and then also I work so many like magic card illustrations, and I also did for WizDev. So WizDev, the project I was on is on Blue Sky, so it's the most exciting, fun part of the project. So I work directly with the creator, but the creator is super busy. So basically, the creator just giving me a script. This is what we are going to do, and this is the stories. And then I actually coming up with the styles. Hey, do you want him to do 2D animation? Do you want him to do 3D animation? Here's the style. What kind of or do you want him to do 2.5D animation? So I'm responsible for like setting up the styles.
Basically, like reference for board artists, right? Like
Yes.
viz dev.
Yes, that's before storyboard artist, director even get hired. So I'm the early Blue Sky phase. So I get to meet with the creator once a week. So I'm just going to do a week of work, researching and sketching. Hey, this is like a 3D looking. This is a 2.5D looking. And then this is, so I just pitch her, like the creators, this is the idea I have. And then once a week, and then she will say, okay, I like this and I don't like this, and then continue to another like pitch. So there will be multiple story moment. So I come up with a multiple story moment, and we're building a pitch deck together, and we're going to pitch to networks like HBO at the time.
Yeah, right. I also want to be clear. I think viz dev is really not the stage where there's like color. It's really just design reference. And I think it's important to kind of go through the pipeline a bit so you understand like where background painting like ends and starts, right? I'm also a viz dev artist. I worked, and I was the sole viz dev artist of already announced project. It's called Steve Urkel Save Santa. Yes, it takes place in Chicago. I worked with Brian Newton. I was one of the first on the crew. My brother lives in Chicago, so I was very lucky that he had reference for me. He just gave me a ton of photos of like snow piled on top of cars, like I would say 8 feet above cars. It was so insane. Like you think I'm exaggerating, but we were really trying to show a Chicago in dead winter. And yeah, working with like the art director, like the showrunner in particular. Brian was like asking specific things like, I don't want to break my NDA, but I'm going to be vague. I'm going to say like, he would give me 2 ideas. So he would be like, I want like an Elon Musk sort of character, but in an Art Deco sort of style. So like Tesla, but not Tesla, right? So yeah, that's the sort of thing that viz dev artists do. Like it's just verbal, it's script. It's fun though. Like you get a lot of creative like room to do anything. Well, not anything, whatever your showrunner wants. So I'm going to move on to background design. So wait, actually, basically said that. I'm gonna move on
I
to.
wanted to with background design and with that is pretty similar. I think
Yeah.
instead of talking to creator, you actually having an art director you can talk to. So it's like pretty similar to background painting. So background design also is a teamwork. So but for each designer, you're actually establishing different locations, but you help each other out. Okay, I'm designing the exteriors, but it has to matching this style for the interior. So it's everything in animation is collaborating work.
Would you guys say like how many background designers are usually hired in a production? It's like 2 to 3.
It really depends on the team. So I work for Disenchantment. The work there is actually from Disenchantment on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Which one is
The
it?
left one,
left one?
that's the season 3 Disenchantment design at the
Very
time. So it's a large show, and then we work 2 seasons together. So at the time we have 8 background designers. That's the never.
8?
But even we have 8 designers, we still have to do 3 background design per day.
Was there like freelance or?
No, everybody's full time.
Wow.
For 8. But
that is super unusual, by the
very
way.
unusual. Normally it's only 3. I think now is 2 to 3.
Yeah, I can say on We Baby Bears we have 2 designers per, or 2 artists per category, I guess.
Yeah.
And if we need freelance help, we'll reach out for freelance.
So I'm gonna put Victoria on the spot because she's like a current color lead right now. She works on We Baby Bears, and I wanted to ask, as color lead, can you tell us a little bit about your responsibilities to your team?
Yeah, so as color lead, I work most closely with the art director, going over reference, style guides, mostly figuring things out for reuse. And what we do on our show is we define different palettes for different episodes based off what the story is asking for. And then I would do some testing with the reuse on certain backgrounds that exist already for the sake of color design. So I also oversees background paint and color design, and then assign everything to everyone in as equally proportion as I can. And if we need the freelance help, I have the authority to like seek out other artists if we need it.
You can seek out me.
I will.
Hire us, Victoria.
I'm trying.
Hire us, Victoria.
I'm trying my best.
We're ready.
It's a group effort. Sometimes it's up to the art director and the showrunner, and also the producer. There's a lot of money talk being in this position of power that you actually don't have any power, but I won't go into that right now.
Currently, you're working with Valerie Schwartz, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you talk to her pretty often? Like, are you always in meetings with her?
So all of my meetings are with the art director, our art director Valerie. A lot of it is going over the episode's needs, how the both of us will take on work assigning things to artists, which usually takes a short amount of time for background painters, but a long time for color designers because color design is a lot of assets. Gray, you probably can speak more to that.
I've done 200 assets for a single episode before on a show I've worked on. So
Yeah, and an asset
Just
is like
color
a
design.
prop character or effect. There are a lot of those per episode. But yeah, as color supervisor, I do that. I also give notes every now and then if an artist hasn't like done it completely perfect, but usually for the most part, whoever we hire can meet the demands of the show.
Do you feel like, ever since you became color lead, though, do you feel like you have really dropped off painting? You're leaving it more to your team?
Oh yeah, so a lot of color supervision is not art at all. The most amount of art that I do is color scripts, which kind of sets things up for our painters, but for the most part, we trust the painters to do what they need to, and color designers too.
When Victoria got hired as color lead, she said the most Victoria thing, which I was like, of course. When I said congratulations to her, and she was like, I'm worried. And I was like, about what? And she was like, I'm worried about not climbing enough.
Yes, I was worried about not being able to have hobbies outside of my job because it was so demanding at the time due to scheduling reasons, but that since then, the scheduling has kind of panned out a little bit better.
this is why this panel is important. work-life balance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Finding
work-life
space
balance.
for your hobbies.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes.
I'm looking forward to this because like Gray worked on Shira and she was the sole color stylist on that.
Just me.
So after a background painter does their work, they finish the backgrounds. It goes to Gray and shipping. But Gray, what do you do? What did you do on Shira? What would you do with the backgrounds you were given? Your general responsibilities of a color designer.
Yeah, so if you want to flip to my slide,
Yes, of course.
for those who don't know, a color designer is basically the person that colors all the characters, props, and effects. And that includes like main characters, background characters, any kind of object that a character might be holding. You're coloring all of that, but then
Effects, too.
and effects. Yeah, you like those giant splats with the little explosions. You're coloring those. Painted a lot of explosion and debris in my time. But yeah, you're coloring that. But then you're also like anytime there is a lighting change in your scene, like if your characters are in nighttime or if there's sunset or like a fire being projected with the lighting on your face, you're coloring all of that. That way, like your overseas animators have something to reference and pull from as they're animating. So as you can see, like things add up very easily. So especially towards like the later episodes of She-Ra where things got really crazy and really intense, there was a couple episodes where I was coloring like 200 plus assets.
How much time did they give you on that?
If I remember correctly, I want to say it was like 2 weeks per episode. 2 weeks. But
How many episodes?
I don't remember. It was a while ago.
Does anyone know how many episodes were in She-Ra?
We had like 4 or 5 seasons. The production seasons are different in how they get broken up too.
You
and
had
how they
freelance
get released.
help, right?
We had occasional freelance help, but I was the main like full timer. But like even though it's like 200 assets, a lot of the time you're like painting the base colors first and then color shifting those colors to fit to nighttime or like adding the rim lighting. So you're already like you're not like coloring brand new 200 assets.
Right.
It's like building on top of your base day colors.
Like I also want to say production does a lot of like the organizing of the files. They're the ones that set up files for us, and I used to be a production assistant, by the way, before I became an artist.
Sames.
Yeah, same.
Yes, we are both PAs.
Yeah, PAs.
Yeah, it's a lot of organization.
Yeah, color stylists also do a lot of that.
Yeah, so
Like,
it's a lot of compartmentalization too. Like you have to remember what characters are in what scene. Where is the lighting coming from?
Did you use a lot of Excel sheets or?
It depends on the show. Some companies use like FileMaker. Some people use ShotGrid. It depends on the company.
Okay, cool. So that concludes like the more industry stuff. I really just want to go to the nature stuff, honestly.
Hobbies.
Hobbies, yes.
Hobbies.
So this is me. I've done like a lot of hiking. I've taken like climbing trips. I go out with my dogs. You could see him in the middle right there. He's a Shiba.
Frodo.
Yeah, Frodo. My recent trips, where we all went actually, all 4 of us went climbing to Red Rock in New Year, like of 2022.
Red Rocks, Nevada,
Yes.
not Colorado.
Yeah. Oh yes.
lot of Red Rock.
near Las Vegas, and I really got to say it was like being on Mars. Like it really lives up to its name. I was so nervous because that was really my first time climbing outside, and I did not know Victoria, Gray, or Q very well. I was nervous about meeting people, and the anxiety was building up in me while I was like driving there. And then there was like when I got to meet everyone and I got to actually be out in the rock, I touched the rock, guys. I felt one with the earth, and I felt like there was this sudden release of pressure. I felt amazing. And it was super addicting. And I feel like I became a stronger climber and a stronger person after that.
You're so strong.
Thank you. You're also very strong.
We're all strong.
I was joking that we should bench press this table, but we're not going to do that.
We don't want to break the table.
For
The
safety
Fireflies
reasons.
would
Yeah.
not be happy with us. But yeah, I was also going through an art block that time. I couldn't make anything. But when I was outside, I felt like I could really see the colors, breathe the colors. That sounds so silly. I could really feel that I could make something out of that. And it's super inspiring. I also kind of want to ask the panelists about their recent trips. So, Victoria, can you give me an instance of a trip or a climb you've taken? Like, can you describe how it makes you feel after doing it?
Well, this wasn't recent, but last year, Q and I did a road trip to Mose Valley on our way up to Salt Lake City to watch the climbing competition that was going over there.
The what?
The IFSC, which is the International Federation of Sport Climbing.
Oh,
Professional climbers.
Professional.
We were
climbers.
just there to watch. But we decided to drive there because on the way up there, we would be hitting Red Rocks, Mose Valley, and then by Salt Lake City is a place called Little Cottonwood Canyon, which is all really good for outdoor bouldering. But in Mose Valley specifically, this was on the way back from our trip, we stopped by this one boulder that I kind of just looked up at the internet because I was like, we're here, we should do something here. And the most iconic climb there is a V1 called Bat Hang, and that's that first image on the far left, where you're upside down for most of it, and then to top out, you just stand up. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it was just nice hanging out, touching rocks, like you said.
Literally hanging.
Yeah.
We were on the trips, so we supposed to be only stay on this border for an hour, but we stayed there 3 hours because we just
In peak heat too. This was
it's like over 90.
How hot was it? Do you remember?
Over 90.
over 90 degrees
Yeah.
Fahrenheit, and
hot.
this was during like 1 p.m.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to discuss running with Gray because Gray is a marathoner.
Hi.
Gray, can you give me a rundown of the marathons you've done this year?
Rundown.
Tell me how many you've done and how many have you done in total? Like,
Oh my
do you know?
God. So I've been a little crazy. I only got into running like a couple years ago for funsies, but as an overachiever that I am, I like to sign up for races. So I've done 2 marathons ever. That is 26.2 miles in a single run. And then like a multitude of like smaller distances in between. But like the two marathons were like the peak things I was aiming for.
All right. Why did you pick up running? Like, do you
Uh,
know?
I
Do you remember why?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, like I started with climbing. Climbing was like my first introduction to being active. And aside from that, like before climbing, I was pretty much a couch potato. Hated PE in class, hated running in high school. So
Oh, really?
I hated
I can't
it. Absolutely
imagine
hated
a
it.
Gray hating running.
It's
though.
really funny. I've totally become a jock now that I've entered my 30s.
Jock Villager Gray.
Yeah, but yeah, I picked up running because me and my friends at the time, we were like, what if we just sign up for a half marathon, like, and start running? And we signed up for a half marathon in Yosemite. So that was kind of our goal, picturesque trip. That last photo is actually, I finally got to run near Yosemite. But we were like, yeah, let's just sign up for a half marathon and just start training together. And like for 6 months, that first 6 months of training, I fucking hated it. It was terrible. I hated running, getting up early, 7 a.m., meeting up with people and having
get up
that
at
obligation.
5.
Yeah.
You get up at 5.
Sometimes, yeah. Like if it's like really hot and you want to avoid the sun, you have to get up really early. But yeah, it's like I hated it for a while, but then I think something shifted. I remember it was like the holiday break, and we had work off for the holidays, and I think I just started running by myself in my neighborhood, and then I looked up and I was like, wow, it's really pretty out. Like these houses are nice. There's like trees. Like once I started making running more about like finding time alone and like, yeah, it helps with the mental health. I think like making it feel like an obligation, that was not helping. But like once I shifted my mindset for it, like then I fell in love with running.
I'm so glad that opened up for you.
Yeah.
I think you're the happiest when you run.
Oops.
So I'm going to shift it over to Q. we know that you like the outdoors a lot. And I think out of all of us combined, you've done more hiking trips than all of us. So on this table, anyway. What is your specific goals when you go backpacking? Like, is it to paint? Like, what is it to step away from your job? Like, is it to reach the end of a trail?
Have you anybody here backpacked before? Only couple?
I see.
Couple?
Two
It's hard to
hands.
see
I see
because
three
of the
people.
lights.
Four
It's
people.
the backpacking trip with the bathroom or without bathroom. True backpacking trip is there's no bathroom. That's the best part, right?
Pooping
That's the best
outside.
part. There's no bathroom.
Just pooping outside.
Yeah, they're pooping. You have to pooping outside, and there's no shower.
And you
know-
love that.
Sometimes there's a river.
You know when
Don't pee in the river. That's
Okay.
bad.
so there, and then if you're wanting to wash yourself, you have to jump into this cold river. You know, just like wash yourself a little bit.
Cold plunge.
And then you have to dig in a hole and then poop in there and then like bury it back. You know, and after a backpacking trip. And then and then for your entire backpacking trip, you only have everything on your backpack. Your phone don't have signals. You couldn't reach outside. All you need to do is just focusing on the moment and then reach to your goal. And then after you reach your goal, you go back. You sit on your toilet. You know, life is so good.
You
What
appreciate.
more do you need
I just-
than a toilet?
I just want to know, so you go outside to feel appreciative of our comforts at home?
Because we get so used to what we already have. We just stop appreciate it. We take granted for everything. You know, we take granted for everything. Like so, starting to a backpacking trip really teach me to appreciate every single day in my life. Small things, even toilet. You know, running water. You know, hot shower, hot water. You know, when you go out the backpacking, you have to boiling this water. You in order to just having a little bit of water.
You have to carry all your gear with you.
have to carry
like a
all your
20-pound
gear.
backpack.
Yes, and but it's the things like you're not able to see all these things if you just like hiking there because that takes multiple days to get into your destinations. So you will see things that normally just people cannot see. So you will see wonderful like landscapes. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
So I actually like to go on backpacking trip and take inspirations and then come back. Based on my reference photos, I can create more art and also appreciate my toilet a lot more.
We love plumbing.
So I want to shift gears and talk about bouldering because I feel like this slide is necessary. We met this way. Like we met all at the gym.
Post-pandemic, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's surprising
okay.
how many animators rock climb.
Yes.
It's like it's a meme.
It's 'cause
at
we
this
live in
point.
Burbank.
Row a rock and you'll hit a storyboard artist.
Yeah.
Like, but I also like I encourage you guys to go check out a gym like wall climbing. Like it's an incredible way to network. But
Without networking.
do not go there with the express purpose of doing that. We could smell it off of you. I want you to go because you wanna experience life. Like I want you to like
Touch some rock.
touch
Touch
some rock.
Touch some plastic,
Yeah.
too.
Caress it.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, climbing was I got to meet so much incredible, strong people. Victoria was on the wall, and I watched her climbing before talking to her. She's like super ripped, like under her
Those
under
rippling
her
back
sweater.
muscles.
Thank you. I will
I
not be
was
flexing right now, but
admiring, you know. But
Yeah.
I mean, what is bouldering to you guys? Like, why?
It's a great community. Like even if you're brand new there, everyone is so nice, so kind. Even if you're like a beginner. I mean, the fact that like we all became friends and we didn't know each other before climbing. Like we make friends almost like every time we're at the gym.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Also,
okay.
you get to connect with the old friends. So I went to school with those people on the pictures, and then we went to school together. But we haven't really connected after we graduated. And then I started climbing, and my friend Albert, who is in this photo with us, also our climbing friend, is like, "Hey, that looks fun. I want to join you." And then we haven't talked since like school. Even in school, we wasn't very close because we were like different grade.
Q and I also went to the same school at the same time, but had never met until
I
climbing.
never met.
I didn't know that.
We graduated at the same time.
Yeah, we went to
From Art Center.
But
Did you
there's
guys take the same classes?
no,
or-
we're different.
No, we were
major.
different. Yeah.
Climbing,
major.
guys.
Climbing brings people together.
Yeah. You are not really trying to like networking. Just like it's nice to connect with your old friends. You know, you haven't seen them for so long, and then you finally finding a activity you all doing it regularly.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to catching up like with your old friends.
I will say also, climbing is a good escape from work. A lot of artists live in LA, so a lot of artists in LA who also climb so that we don't have to talk about art.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's so much more fun than just lifting weight.
Yeah.
It's like we don't think of it as an exercise. It's kind of like solving a problem of like how do you maneuver your body on the wall to like get to the next hold.
Yeah, bouldering single-handedly replaced my League of Legends addiction. Unironically. Thank you.
All right. So I do want to say bouldering can, I mean, this is actually
That's
us. It's us on the wall.
That's us, plus our
Yeah.
other two friends, Casey and Cat Fan.
Yes.
Cat Fan has a table. Check her out.
Yes.
Table
Her
531.
Yes.
We were running around the gym like hooligans because we got matching dresses.
Who are
And
cute.
I'm wearing mine now.
I was going to, but it was too cold today.
Too cold. But yeah, it really brought us together. I'm really grateful for climbing. I've fallen in love with it. I hope you guys have.
Of course, we're here.
But I also want to switch gears to injuries. And
Don't get
pushing past-
injured.
Don't get injured. But I kind of want to go down the line. We should probably speed it up a little bit
Oh, yes.
about this. I have arthritis, and exercising and stretching my body has really managed it. I was walking around last year, actually. Last year, I was an attendee, and I was walking around with a cane. And I'm not this year.
Yay! Woo!
Yay!
Thank you. Victoria, tell us what's happening with your arms.
right,
What's
So-
wrong with your arms?
So shortly before April and I had met, I actually got injured pretty badly in my hand, my right hand. I forget the actual area, but
Your
it's
drawing hand?
Here, my drawing hand, which is very important. I couldn't make a full fist, and my ring finger, you can still kind of see, is jutting out a bit while I make that fist. But
How did you get it? What happened?
I was on an overhang, which is when you're horizontal.
Or like climbing
hanging-
upside down
Climbing
on
upside
a
down,
roof.
basically. My hand was in a pocket, and I had missed the next hold over, pulling this upwards, and it wasn't a complete tear, but it was very sore, and I, again, couldn't make a fist. But luckily, I have thumbs, and that's how I hold my stylist at the time. The finger tape, the kinesiology tape that you see on my hands in this photo was to keep my tendons from kind of being overused, and keeping them in place so that the range of motion is limited. And I had it on both hands because my other hand was also suffering at the time. But yeah, K-tape, very useful.
Yeah, awesome. Q, your shin is hurt. What happened here?
Oh, I just get injured all the time from climbing. So if you, you see
Injury
my-
is inevitable, but it doesn't have to be.
Oh yes,
You can
but
prevent them.
It's really hard for me to prevent because I fall all the time, and sometimes I fall. Right now, I'm actually still injured because I fall and I with a
Yeah, you just hurt yourself recently.
yeah
What
with a
happened?
straight arm. So I fall and I push myself this way,
Yeah.
and my entire arm is like couldn't move after that.
If you do try climbing, learn how to fall properly.
yeah, so
Practice falling too.
Yeah,
Practice falling.
So Gray,
I had a falling injury. I sprained my ankle.
yes.
Yes, I preventable because at the time I knew I was tired, but I decided to keep going.
You pushed yourself.
I pushed myself too far, pushed past that limit, and I fell, landed really badly on my ankle, like it twisted inwards,
Yeah.
and it was like swollen for a good.
You also injured your
months.
elbow at the time too, I remember.
Yeah, so we actually have a video of me falling.
We won't show that.
We're not gonna share
gonna
it.
share it, no,
but
no.
it was
Spare
really,
you.
it's kind of funny because in the video you actually see my elbow bend backwards. And all my friends that were there, they thought I broke my arm and not my ankle. But the ankle was actually worse than my arm. My arm was just a little sore for like a week and I couldn't straighten it.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what Q's injury is right now, where you just can't straighten it properly. But yes.
Would you say after you guys got injured, it was kind of hard to push yourself again? Were you a little scared?
The first step was denial.
Yes, I want to continue going
I'm not
to
injured.
Yes, denial.
I can keep
is,
going. It's just a flesh
Yeah,
wound.
I just need to go to
But,
climbing
okay,
to
listen,
fix
wait.
it.
Victoria is
She's
the
a
worst.
bad
She's the
influence.
worst out of us. She
am
keeps
very-
climbing.
The denial is very strong in me.
Yes.
We have to tell her to stop.
And then she tell me to kind of stop climbing, take the time to rest, and then she continue.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Me and Gray are the queens of not pushing ourselves, I think.
Yeah, I like taking it easy. I don't like being injured. Yeah, when falling, like you get a bit of PTSD too. So like it takes you a while to get comfortable again, pushing yourself back to that limit.
Yeah, that goes for all injuries too. I don't really touch pockets on overhangs anymore.
All right. I know this sounds scary. I just like
Climbing is
really-
fun.
It's fun. We swear.
But I just think it's something to be more realistic about.
Yeah.
I don't want you guys to. I don't want to tell you guys that you need to go out there and climb, but I need you to be careful about it.
Yes.
You know, and to enjoy it. Of course.
We're like the mama birds. We want you guys to be careful, be safe.
All
have
right.
fun.
So let's talk. I mean, let's do this really fast, honestly, because I do want to stretch in time.
Okay.
So
Talk about your hobbies.
talk about artistic burnout, hobbies, what we do when we are experiencing art block. For me personally, I picked up photography. I just started taking photos, and it's really helped me see, like framed. Like you could see, like you kind of picture composition a little better when you're taking
Yeah.
photos.
It's like a way to be creative without having to physically draw for yourself. Yeah, it's very nice.
Gray.
Hi. Yes.
What do you do?
Also photography. I've been getting into reading a lot more. As a joke, I want to say my hobby is eating Cheeto Puffs. So eating chips.
And then working it off.
Yes, we work it off, but also we don't want to think in that mindset. We don't need to work off our food.
No.
Yes, we're healthy.
Yes.
Yes.
Victoria.
I crochet sometimes. I crocheted that top that I'm wearing in that
she's
photo.
climbing it. Do you?
I
guys see
also design washi tape, which I guess is still art, but
This one
it's
right
like a hobby outside of that. And I sometimes experiment with s'mores and different chocolates to see how they
She's
taste.
the s'mores queen.
Yeah, they're highlighted in my Instagram highlights if you want to take a
Yeah.
look.
Every
Reese's
time we
is still pretty good.
travel, we always buy like a fancy chocolate and we gift it to
Yeah.
Victoria so we can see her make s'mores out of it and
Yeah.
rate it.
Yes,
All
it's
right.
tradition now.
Q. Tell me about what you do when you're experiencing
Yeah, like
art block.
I told you guys, I like to go places without toilet, right? So and then I like I'll go outdoor climbing, and then I like to swing dance. I also like to making high effort food, you know. So especially with making it with friends. This is me making kimchi with my friends. We're going to making 包子 soon.
Can you make us some?
Oh yeah, we're making some
Right now.
sure.
right now. Take
And
out
then
the
yeah,
pot.
also traveling, just going to places, touching rocks, going to places I never been to. That's something I really like to do. This all inspire me for my art, to be honest.
This is some of our examples of how nature has affected our art. I've done this plein air painting right here. I went to I mean, it's pretty manicured, but I went to Descanso Gardens. And I mean, just even going to the garden is just touch your grass there, you know? And here's Gray on a bat overhang.
That's
The
the bat
same
hang.
bat hang that
Yeah.
Victoria was talking
We
about
came
earlier.
back.
Yeah,
we
later
came
that
back.
year.
Here's the Red Rock New Year trip
Yeah,
that we
that
went
was
to.
our New Year trip. And
Very
then-
red,
Yeah, and then
full of rocks.
I designed a painting based on our trip. So I like to paint my cat in all my paintings.
There she is.
What's your
Kimmy? Kimmy.
Yeah, my cat is Kimmy, and so if you go on my Instagram, you will see a lot of me and my cats traveling, doing
Yeah.
things. Sometimes I actually travel to, like for example, this one I actually been to there with my friends. So I adding all my friends like climbing, and there's April's dog.
There's my cat Junie on the left.
Oh no! So not April's dog, but actually she didn't bring her dog, but there's other dogs running around us. I would just imagine she bring her dog, so I just putting dogs there.
So this is Victoria's piece.
Oh yeah. So most of my inspiration just comes from looking at light in real life versus like reference online. Seeing how light and color affects things in person is really nice for understanding how it works.
All right. So if you ever want to follow us, these are our socials. We have this is all our art Instagrams. I have the same handle on Instagram and Twitter. Oh, take photos. Yes. Wow. I didn't even think about that.
I forgot to put our handles on our pamphlet, but feel free to write on them. You guys can keep the pamphlets that we left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everyone good? Everyone good? Okay.
We can come back to this.
Yes. And then this is our running, hiking, and climbing Instagram. So, like, if you guys want to see Victoria climb rock, man. And then-
Look at her muscles.
Yeah. Look at her back muscles. I mean, good
Those are
drawing
there, too.
reference. Gray has her running Instagram. Q has, like, her hiking, backpacking.
Just outdoorsy.
Outdoorsy.
Yeah.
But yeah.